Hello, everybody, and welcome to another AI Corner. I am Nick Novak here again to give you some more AI updates, things happening in the last week in the world of AI. So let's just get right into it. Last week was a crazy week. We had some really big announcements this week as well. I'm going to start with some of the smaller ones and then get into it. So last week, if you recall, in the AI Corner, Google announcing Gemini 1.5. We now have the introduction of Gemini Business and Enterprise plans from Google. Now, this is using the earlier Gemini 1.0 Ultra models as the feature here. And this is essentially a enterprise level AI rollout from Google here. So it's kind of like a per user per seat per month situation from Google, offering integration of Gemini 1.0 Ultra integrated into the G Suite in your workspace. So corporate accounts, Gmail, Docs, Sheets, all of the features, really trying to roll out these features for businesses to roll out these AI features for their teams from Google here. And then we also had the announcement of the release of Gemma. So this is Google's kind of contribution to open source, which they are releasing two different model sizes here of their as I understand it, Gemma is their kind of the same type of technology toolkit that they use to create Gemini, that they are releasing open source at this 2 billion and 7 billion parameter count sizes. So this is going to come with a responsible generative AI toolkit that's going to allow developers in the open source community to create their own AI technology and a framework for being able to roll out inference on that as well. So that is open source from Google Gemma, not to be confused with Gemini. We also had a deal from Reddit. This is a licensing deal, and we saw a lot of these types of deals come in last year. Even these are an attempt from companies to monetize their data, essentially. There's a whole tension that is occurring with content that may be owned by companies, trademarked, copyright content, being used and included in the training data of models. And so we saw last year a variety of different deals from news outlets and things like that to just sell the data to AI companies for training purposes. And this is a deal that is reported to be about $60 million per year from Reddit, where Reddit will sell user data to Google for inclusion in presumably Gemini fine-tuning or training data, or potentially retrieval augmented generation. Not really clear, I think, how that is going to work, but it does seem like Google Gemini is going to have access to live Reddit data. And then we saw this big release from Stable Diffusion, or Stability AI, the open source creators of Stable Diffusion. Now, Stable Diffusion is a series of models that is essentially kind of the open source competitor, you could call it, to these text-to-image generators like DALL-E 3, Midjourney 6 are the best ones in the proprietary side. But now we have the early preview release of Stable Diffusion 3, which is a pretty big deal. Now it is being released as an early kind of safety test, early access preview mode right now, which is another theme in a lot of these releases. When you see the big headline like this, it doesn't mean that you can go play with it right now. Usually means there's a wait list. There's a period where they're now testing. They invite testers to create these safeguards before they actually roll it out to everyone, so that they can make these safeguards and try to make sure that the AI is responsibly generating content. Now, Stable Diffusion 3 is being showcased here. I'll show one of the prompts here, which they are highlighting, kind of showing a lot of the strengths of this model. The prompt on this image here was epic anime artwork of a wizard atop a mountain at night, casting a cosmic spell into the dark sky that says Stable Diffusion 3, made out of colorful energy. So really highlighting and emphasize the ability for this model to generate text and to generate, to follow kind of like in the same way that DALL-E 3 is able to handle lots of different details and prompts and get those details accurately portrayed in the image, multiple subjects. And as you can see from these images, really high levels of detail and resolution in the output. And presumably this, when it is released, will also be able to be combined with some of the technology and toolkits that are being used in the Stable Diffusion community, things like A1111 control net, in all of the ways that you can have control over the output of these images, since it is not locked down under one kind of proprietary generation box. And that is the Stable Diffusion 3 update. And I'm just going to finish with this one announcement, which is a little more on the science or physics side. And this is something that I think we will increasingly see. We used to have a section called Research Corner of the AI Corners, but this one really caught my eye. This was a publication from Nature 3 days ago that is showcasing an AI-based kind of breakthrough in nuclear energy. And this is a nuclear fusion breakthrough. So, we do have nuclear fission reactors that are providing power today, but fusion is kind of the next step up in terms of efficiency and clean energy that I think physicists would like to be able to unlock. But there are a lot of bottlenecks in stabilizing this type of energy. And according to this article 3 days ago, one of those bottlenecks was, if not totally solved, a lot of progress made towards solving that issue. As I understand it, one of the steps of getting nuclear fusion energy working in a reactor like this is to stabilize the plasma inside it. You get this thing called plasma tearing. And here we have the authors of this paper actually experimentally using an AI controller that uses reinforcement learning at a nuclear facility that is located in San Diego to actually control that plasma stirring and bring it under control. So yeah, really, really interesting and exciting stuff here. This is taking taking AI out of the lab into practical applications. I think one of the most promising things about AI, aside from all of the generative AI tools, which have been a huge theme in 2023, going to be continuing to be a theme this year for making images, video. That's going to certainly change the media landscape. But when we see these breakthroughs coming into physics, coming into medicine, that's when I think we might be seeing over the next 5-10 years just some really intense advancements to things in the energy, medicine, and other fields. So yeah, really, really interesting updates here. And yeah, going to be on the lookout for more breakthroughs like this that are coming down the pipeline. And that's all that I had this week. And I will see you all next week.